You ready to let the dogs out?
What?
Do what?
From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
Join Pet Pals TV's Patty Spitler as we celebrate our furry friends.
Cats, dogs, and all the critters in your family.
Celebrate the bond between pets and people and meet Hoosier heroes saving four-legged lives.
I love it. Good. I'm glad.
It's the Positively Patty Podcast.
I can't wait anymore.
Me neither.
Now, your host, here's Wish TV contributor Patty Spitler.
From Wish TV, I'm Pet Pals TV host Patty Spitler, and this is Positively Patty Podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network. On this episode, we're talking with Tom Dock. Tom Dock, certified veterinary journalist. He's also at Noah's Animal Hospitals, and he's our Pet Pals TV investigative reporter. So we're honored to have him on our bill today. Now, on this episode, we're talking about pandemic advice, not just for you, but for your pet. I mean, the two go hand in hand, or paw in hand, if you will. Outdoor adventures, how you need to get outside with your pet. It can help both of you get rid of some of those maybe pandemic pounds. Good idea. And holiday advice. What should and shouldn't you feed your pet, and why? All those wonderful things coming up on the Positively Patty Podcast. And welcome once again. It's the Positively Patty Podcast. Thank goodness I don't have to say that too much. That's a mouthful. We have Tom Dock with us today, and we're talking critters, of course. Tom Dock is the...
Patty, I'm the Director of Communications for Noah's Animal Hospitals here in Indianapolis, / Pet Pals TV investigative reporter, / certified veterinary journalist, certified pet nutrition coach. I mean, there's probably a few other things that I've forgotten, but, you know, this is your show. And speaking of that, you have some big news that I saw come across the Twitterverse and across my instant messaging this morning.
Yes, I'm very, shucks, honored. Gosh, it's hard to talk about yourself, you know that? I was voted best TV personality / Patty Spitler. You know, I look a slash there. Actually, this is my second win. I won in 2018 when they first started it, too.
I remember being there with you in 2018.
Yeah.
That was the Hall of Fame one, wasn't it?
That was something else.
Something else?
I don't remember. They're giving me all these awards, and I'm not dead yet. So that's the best news right there.
There you go.
But I want to thank everybody who voted, and thank you so much. I feel honored and very lucky to do the things that I love to do and volunteer to do. So let's talk about Tom Dock now, okay?
Okay, if we must.
Tell us about your background. With Noah's Animal Hospital now, we know you love... When did this love for critters start?
I can almost remember to the day when I was walking, and people don't do this anymore, but walking to my elementary school. I was in 5th grade. And I think I had just finished a series of books by James Herriot. And for those people who don't know, James Herriot was a veterinarian in England in the 1930s, so kind of pre-war. And it was his story about just graduating and hooking up with this cranky old veterinarian and learning things and how veterinary medicine was progressing. And I've always loved science. And, you know, yes, I love pets. I love animals, but we were kind of a one animal family growing up. Dad was allergic, and so we had a dachshund at a time. We first had Sambo, I think was his name, and then we had Rusty, and by that time, I was off on my way to college.
Right. And then you continued that love of pet, not only just having your own pets, but helping people who have pets as well. How many do you have? You know where I'm going with this one.
So I've had all sorts of animals throughout my life. But currently, right now, I have 3 English Mastiffs. And people give me that look, as it is about 500 pounds a dog. No, I don't live on a farm. We live in a subdivision and typical, little bit bigger backyard because we're on a cul-de-sac. But they're lazy. Honestly, they don't want to do anything.
Well, yeah, and my Stewie, he one little, run around the outside, around the yard, and he's fine. Right. Sometimes bigger dogs do very well in smaller locations. Now, if you had a Border Collie or an Australian Shepherd or something, a Belgian Malinois, they would need to run and do things and have a job. But some of the bigger ones are kind of lazy. That's not a bad thing if you want to sit in the couch with them.
Well, absolutely, and I think that's one of the things about researching your pet before you go out and get one. And that's what makes my job so exciting. I think we talk about our whys every day. Why do you get up and go to work? And my why is teaching people about pet health care. And it's so wonderful, one, that I've got connected with you, but all the other things that I do, because instead of just one practice, there's 11 Noah's practices and Pet Pals TV. And it's literally like I feel like I'm reaching millions of people, hopefully with good things that they can learn about their pets.
And we can always learn. I mean, I've been doing Pet Pals TV now for 11 years, and I still learn things every day. I mean, it's just amazing. We can always, no matter how old you get, no matter how much you think you can still learn something else about a breed or a certain kind of animal, or maybe even wild animals. So I agree with you totally on that. Now, you talk about working and what you do for work. Some people aren't going to work right now because of COVID. The virus has kept people home, which could be good because they're loving their pets. Their pets are part of, and the dogs are like, "Well, this is great." Of course, the cats are like, "When are you leaving?"
When is the time? Yeah, feed me, go.
Goodbye. What advice do you have when and if people are going to go back to work and leave their pets, especially dogs? What can you tell them?
Well, dogs are very much creatures of habit. And so you're right. There's a concern that now they're habituated to us being at home all the time, going outside 8 times a day instead of 4 times a day. And so we do need to change that a little bit, but we don't want to make it a huge big deal. And so what I've told people is, if they're used to their crate when you leave, put them in their crate for 5-10 minutes, walk outside, walk around the block by yourself.
Good point. Yeah.
And come back.
Yeah.
Go pick up the car keys and then go sit down in your chair. And 10 minutes later, put the car keys back. What we want to do is desensitize them to those triggers that I'm leaving. We do this with dogs with separation anxiety all the time. Okay. So, and while we don't know that any of these pets are going to have separation anxiety, let's just get them, used to the fact that we are not always going to be home. And like you said, just feed the cat.
Just feed the cat. Well, they sleep about 20 hours a day anyway, so they don't know if you're there or not. Right. I love my kitties, though. Also, what about medications for anxiety? Do you subscribe to that or recommend that? Only
if you're going to use other behavioral modification means. So, in other words, the medicine by itself is not going to fix the problem. Gotcha.
All right, winter months are coming up. Here's one thing that always... let's say the word irks me when they say, if you're cold, they're cold. No, that's not true, because Stewie loves the cold. He's a snow dog. Now, Mabel has sweaters and coats, and she wants to go out and do her business and come back in. What for winter months can you advise folks? I guess, again, depends on the breed, but how do we get ready for the winter?
Well, I think there's a lot of different things that we can do. One thing I thought of today, especially with what we're dealing with COVID and coronavirus, is let's not be afraid to go outside. You can continue walking your dog, okay? We know that that's not going to be a big risk factor for you. So let's get them out, get them into the sunshine, the vitamin D. It'll be good for you. It'll be good for them. Everybody will feel better. So continue the walks as much as you can. Watch your older pets, your senior pets, especially on the slippery sidewalks. We have no idea, what the weather's going to be like, obviously, but if it's icy outside, they may need some extra help. Puppies, and you're taking them out if somebody has a new puppy at this time of year, it's colder. They're going to have a hard time maintaining body heat, so just a few minutes at a time. But you're absolutely right. We do have an ordinance here in central Indiana, and several other communities around here have similar ordinances that you have to bring your pets inside or provide some sort of shelter when it's less than 32 degrees. I think that's very well-meaning and very well-intentioned, and that's great, but we don't need to be calling people because you see their German Shepherd running outside for an hour. He's probably having fun. Even my short-haired Mastiffs love the first snow. They're chasing the snowflakes. They're racing each other through the backyard. So we can't make that snap decision that this pet needs to come inside right now.
And I think you can also judge when an animal's in distress and when they're just having fun. So again, as you say, just think a little bit. And, if you see a Newfoundland that's buried in the snow, he probably loves that. But what I do, like with Stewie and, of course, Maple, I don't leave them out. They can come to the door and let me know, hey, I want in, and they'll let me know. Trust me, they'll knock on the door, so they have access to come in. I'm not making Stewie stay outside if it's cold, or Mabel with her sweater on. I give them access to come and go.
Right, absolutely. And I think there's things that also need to be said about communication, maybe between neighbors. You know, if you have one of those dogs that loves the snow and, you know, your neighbor comes over, introduce them to the dog and let them know, hey, he does love the snow. Talk with your neighbors. We don't need to be reporting each other.
Okay. Oh, good point. I see what you did there. Don't overfeed. It's winter. We have holidays coming up. And maybe not as many folks coming over for the holidays, too. But you have your pet. Oh, here Fluffy, here Fido, here's the skin from the turkey, here's the bone from the turkey. No.
Yeah, we've got to really talk about the risks that we have with some of these traditional holiday foods. So fatty foods, we like our hams, we like the turkeys and everything. And turkey itself is not necessarily fat, but when we baste it with butter and the skin has fat in it and everything, that can be problematic, set them off into pancreatitis. I think I mention this every year when we reach out. Our NOAA's hospitals, with the 3 emergency hospitals we have, generally run about 30 to 35 cases every year of pancreatitis at each hospital. Pancreatitis, vomiting and diarrhea from our pets, or even emergency surgeries because they have swallowed that bone or it's gotten obstructed. So we got to be really careful. There's other things you can do. A small piece of the breast meat, the white meat, would be perfect. Just keep in mind, if you've got a 5-pound Yorkie, she doesn't need 4 ounces of turkey, a half an ounce, maybe. Certainly bigger dogs can get more. Use raw carrots as a treat. Think about, things like green beans or zucchini. All of these things can be much better than, plopping some mashed potatoes down or something that has a lot of onion and garlic in it.
Oh, onion, those garlic, that's very, very bad
for them.
I do know that yams are good. What I do is take a yam and cut it up and just put it in the microwave because I don't cook. Okay. So I put it in the microwave to heat it up just a little bit and then slice it. And the yam, but I don't put anything on it.
No, just let it, sweet potatoes, yams, I guess they're kind of the same thing. I've never understood the difference. But that's a good thing. In fact, I don't have the website, and I feel bad being here on the podcast and I can't say the website, but you can look up, calories of dog treats. There's an Australian veterinarian who listed a lot of really good human food treats and a lot of the really bad ones, as far as a calorie count. You think about that. If your dog's getting medication, think about Mabel for a second. Pilling Mabel may not be the easiest thing to do. So maybe you wrap it in a piece of American cheese?
Or bacon.
Okay. That American cheese slice is 102 calories. And I can tell you from my examination and looking at Mabel, she doesn't need more than about 400 calories a day total. Okay.
But she cleans up everybody's plate.
Well, maybe we need to talk about that off air. But what we're feeding our dogs, what seems like a little bit to us is much more to them because, we take in 2,000, 2,500 calories a day. Some of our pets only need 300, 400, 500 a day.
Right. Yeah, her sweaters are getting a little tight, I noticed this year. Oh, yeah, okay, I understand. You're right. Now, we're going to briefly touch on this. You have advised people before when they come to see you. Are you still going out to the car?
In most cases, yes.
In most cases. All right. People are getting really upset. Tell us what you see and what's the consequence and what should we be doing when you go to the vet?
Okay, I think that's great, and I love the opportunity to talk about this because it is different. You're used to going to the veterinarian, sitting in that room, talking with the veterinarian face-to-face while he or she does the examination, and now that's all gone.
Right.
You're waiting in the parking lot. You don't know what's going on in the hospital. You can't hear anything. You can't see anything. Yeah, we've had video conferencing. Yeah, we can be on the phone, but still it's not the same, especially in emergency situations, okay? You pull up for an emergency, your dog's really itchy or his ear hurts. Well, that may not be the most urgent thing that's there. There may be a dog who can't breathe. There may be a cat who's blocked. And you don't know that because you're in the parking lot. All you see are other cars, and you may see some people coming and going before or after you. Imagine sitting at a restaurant and, you get to go after the person who came in after you, type of thing. So it is challenging. And so caution people, bring good energy, have patience, make sure your cell phone's charged, bring a magazine, bring a book, something, because the waits are longer. It's really a perfect storm of everything, of more pets, more people spending more time with those pets, and more people finding things with those pets, in addition to veterinarians now needing to cut back a little bit because of, their own dealings with coronavirus and COVID.
Well, it's a stress factor. Also, you don't want your pet to see you so stressed, because they pick up on all those qualities and all those. They're observing you all the time. Well, I think you're wonderful. You know that.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you.
I tell everybody I'm wonderful too.
You do. It's working. Another slash, man. Mr. Wonderful. We thank you for your advice. I got to tell you this. Very quickly, Tom, I love Tom because he never tells me no. I always say, Tom, could you? He goes, yes. Can you come over? Yes. Can you be on Indie Stuff? Yes. Can you? Yes. I can. You always say yes, and that helps us so much because you're a fast responder. You're a first responder.
I'm a first and fast responder. Well, it's always my pleasure. It's my why. I want people to have the right and accurate and good information about their pet health care, because it helps everyone.
You're good.
Thank you.
Good man. Tom Dock, Noah's Animal Hospitals. He's everywhere, and we're honored to have you on the Positively Patty podcast. Whew. A lot of peas.
A lot of peas.
Thank you, Tom Dock, and that will conclude it for today. We thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you, to talk to you next time on Positively Patty podcast. Bye. This has been the Positively Patty podcast from Wish TV. I'm Patty Spitler. Be sure to follow and subscribe to this podcast and check out new updates every single week. You can also learn more at wishtv.com, and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook.
Discover more pet-friendly stories at PetPalsTV.com, and stay with Wish TV online at WishTV.com, and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast and discover more great podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at AllIndianaPodcastNetwork.com.